Hello, my name is Mason Turlington. I'm a fire department recruit here in the city of High Point, and today I'll be reading Soft Rain, a story of the Cherokee Trail of Tears, written by Cornelia Cornelissen. The reason I picked this book, I have a love for history, and I hope that you can read this book as well and learn some information that's presented in this book. So we'll start with chapter 1, A Sad Letter. "Hurry, pet, hurry," Soft Rain called, running into the cabin with the puppy at her heels. "Grandmother, tell me a story before I go to school," she whispered, picking up the small, wiggling dog. She knelt beside Grandmother's rocking chair. "There's no time for your story this morning," Mother cheated. "You know you stayed outside playing with Pet too long. You should have come at once when I called." She handed Soft Rain her deerskin pouch. "Here's your food." Holding the pouch close to her nose, Soft Rain sniffed. Fresh cornbread. "Father and I will have our cornbread in the field," Hawk Boy said, bragging. "I'm helping today." Soft Rain laughed. "If that is true, my little brother, you had better stop talking and get to work." Hawk Boy jumped up, nearly knocking over the kerosene lamp. Though 3 years younger, he stood tall beside his 9-year-old sister. Soft Rain was surprised to see that the top of his head was even with her shoulder. "All that food you eat makes you grow," she said, patting his plump stomach. Still chewing, Hawk Boy nodded, swallowed, gave Grandmother a hug, took the cloth-wrapped package from Mother, and scurried out the door. "Don't eat on the way," Soft Rain called after him. Hawk Boy waved as the sound of his laughter faded. "After the New Moon Festival, Hawk Boy will go to school with you," Grandmother said. "I will miss his smiling face just as I miss yours." "You can't see his face, Grandmother," Soft Rain said, looking at the old woman's clouded eyes. "I can hear his laughter and imagine the joy in him. I will like having my little brother walk the long way with me. I can tell him stories." Soft Rain brushed a crumb of off Grandmother's face and kissed her. "But you must go before the New Moon Festival," Mother warned, and everybody laughed. Soft Rain ran down the mountain road towards town and the teacher's house that was the school for the Jollity boys and girls. Along the narrow path, she looked for early spring flowers, but she saw none. A squirrel ran up an oak tree, fussing at her for disturbing him. The path grew wider as she neared the edge of town. When she walked past the schoolhouse of the white children, she heard singing. She was relieved to have missed seeing the white boys. The day before, they had taunted her, running in circles around her, making ugly faces, pulling on her braids, and yelling, "Cherokee, Cherokee," their strange ways of saying jealousy. Climbing the 3 steps to the porch of the teacher's house, Soft Rain called, "See you, hello." "Come in, Soft Rain, you were almost late again," the teacher said. "Were you listening to stories or looking for flowers?" Before answering, Soft Rain stared at the teacher's beautiful beaded deerskin dress. Why was she wearing her festival dress to school? "I played too long with Pet. There weren't any flowers," Soft Rain said. She sat on the floor next to Little John, who was named for the principal chief of the Jollity. She liked Little John because he reminded her of Hawk Boy, always trying to be taller. "I was named for John Ross, the chief of the real people, but I will be much bigger," he always said, stretching himself as tall as possible. The teacher handed Soft Rain the pages from Sequoia's writing. Talking leaves, her father called them. "When I was your age," he had often told her, "our language was only spoken." Then Sequoia made the sounds into symbols that you can now read. Together, the boys and girls read Bible verses from Sequoia's pages. Then Little John and Soft Rain, who were the oldest, each read a verse alone. "Your reading is excellent, as usual," the teacher stammered. She wiped her eyes. The younger children looked at each other and began whispering, "The teacher is crying." "We won't read the white man's book today because I have something I must tell you," the teacher said, holding up a piece of paper, her hand trembling. "You look sad. Will it make us cry?" Little John asked. "It is very sad. It is a letter from the white man who calls himself the superintendent of Cherokee removal. Friends, he calls us. He tells us that the treaty signed 2 years ago by some of our people will soon be enforced in Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama, as well as here in North Carolina. He says that on the 23rd of May of this year, 1838, the Cherokee must remove to the land set apart from them in the West." The teacher sighed, then continued, My family has decided to leave before we are forced from our home. If it isn't too late, we will sell our house to a white family. Children, there will be no more school for you here, maybe in the West. Soft Rain saw tears fall onto the white man's letter. She felt her anger growing. If she were holding that letter, she would rip it into pieces. No more school. The Jasali must move west. Why? The teacher did not answer Soft Rain's unspoken question. She merely whispered a goodbye to each child. She handed the white man's word books to Soft Rain and Little John. You must keep reading, she said. As Soft Rain passed the white children's school, she began to cry. It isn't fair that those mean boys can go to school and we can't, she said to Little John, sobbing. Why is the teacher moving? I don't know, but my father says only a few of our people signed that treaty. They are the ones who should move. We aren't moving. Father is getting ready to plant a slough of our corn. I'm going to help him. He never wanted me to learn the white man's ways or his words. Now I'll stop. I won't need this old book. Soft Rain screamed as Little John threw the word book towards the schoolhouse and ran away. She started to go after the book, but when she saw a face at the window, she hesitated. Then she tore after Little John, only stopping when she had no more breath. She looked all around, but Little John was nowhere in sight. She was puzzled. The teacher, who knew the language of the white man, had said to keep reading, and she was going west because the letter said she must. But Little John's father didn't want him to learn the white man's ways. He was not moving west. He was planting. Would Soft Rain's family have to move west? Then she thought about her father and Hawkboy at work in their field. Relieved, she let out a deep breath. If Father was planting, they wouldn't be moving west. I will help Father, and I will continue my reading, she said to herself. Putting the word book into her pouch, she hurried home. That is chapter 1 from Soft Rain, a story of the Cherokee Trail of Tears. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want to continue reading, please stop by the High Point Public Library, and you can pick yourself up a copy.